Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. Andrew Musgrove here. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Today we're talking all about the new proposals for a brand new European Super League. Yes, it has raised its ugly head once again. No. Don't worry, you haven't slipped back into April 2021. This has actually happened today. I'm sure you guys are all aware, but let me explain a bit of context just in case. So today, new plans have been released proposing a brand new European League and knockout system made up of 64 men's teams and 32 from the women's game. It follows the ruling from the European Court of Justice that UEFA and FIFA's blocking of the original plans were unlawful. Now, it was back in April 2021, as I said, when 12 teams, including Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Spurs, and Man United, tried to launch a new competition. It was led by Barcelona and Real Madrid, but the backlash saw the proposal collapse within 72 hours. Now, the company behind it launched this legal fight, and while the court did indeed rule against FIFA and UEFA, it was clear that it doesn't mean new Super League is imminent. In fact, any breakaway league would still need authorization from UEFA. So what does it mean going forward? Well, in my opinion, quite frankly, the chances of a Super League are next to nil. The proposals launched by 2022 lack any real substance, in my view, and more than that, have not got the backing of those who originally propped up the plan, other than Barcelona and Real Madrid. Man United, one of those originally involved, are one of several teams to come out and distance themselves from the plans. Now, on one hand, we have to be fair, the new proposals are better. There is actually an element of competition, which wasn't there before. Let me explain how it works. So across the three leagues that would be in play, named Gold, Silver, and Blue Star, teams can be relegated and promoted. And there would be 16 in the top two leagues each and 24 in the third. 2 from the top would drop down, as would 2 from the second, and they would be replaced by the top 2 from those respective tiers. The bottom 20 teams from the Blue Star would be relegated altogether from the competition and replaced by the best performing teams in Europe not already involved in the competition. The knockout stage would see 8 of each league go through, with quarterfinals and semi-finals played over 2 legs. The teams involved will be made up of sporting merit, and that's all the plans say, made up of sporting merit. But how does that work, and is that fair? Because my big question is, if these plans were ever proposed, how would the original founding members be chosen? Because that's what we'd all be interested in. So let me put an example to you. Last season, Newcastle United finished 4th in the Premier League and qualified for the Champions League. They deserved it on their own merit. Now, let's just say, for example, that the plans for this new European Super League had been passed and approved, and this season, the 2023-24 campaign, was going to see the launch of it. Okay. Would those behind it really allow Newcastle United to go into the top tier of the competition at the expense of, say, Liverpool or Chelsea, who missed out on Champions League? I've got my doubts. It's just my opinion. They might argue they would have done. They probably will say they would have done. I've got my doubts on that, though. And that is the big issue, isn't it? Because a club like Newcastle qualifying for the Champions League for the first time in more than 21 years is what football is all about. Leicester doing it, You've got teams like Aston Villa this season chasing down the riches of Europe's top competition. That's what it's all about. It is. But looking at these plans, and again, there isn't much to go on, and we might get more over the next couple of weeks and months. Any team finishing 4th that haven't been there before or haven't been there for a long time would not go into the 3rd tier. So I'm not talking about original founding members now. I'm talking about the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th this season, and so on and so on. A team finishing 4th, where they would have qualified for the Champions League, looks like they would go into the bottom tier and have to work their way up to that top level. That just kills the dream, doesn't it? It really does. And the irony of all of this is that Barcelona's president, Joan Laporta, has talked about the Super League helping the national leagues to become more balanced and competitive. Well, you should tell that to those in the rest of La Liga who watch Barcelona still being able to afford some of Europe's best talent while being in reported financial difficulties. In my view, any sale of this competition is one that benefits the lower league sides or fans is farcical. Now, we don't know the view of Newcastle United on these proposals, but Kona Madad Gudusi, at the time the original plans collapsed, said, I hope this will now end. I hope this will now be the end of this complete farce. And Dan Ashworth then backed that up last November. The reality is that these proposals have little support. The Champions League and the open nature of any club in a top league being able to qualify for it is what makes domestic football so exciting. And Newcastle United have got a taste for it this season and will want to be back in as soon as possible. But at the moment, only Barcelona and Real Madrid are backing this new plan. I mean, it is quite astonishing. You've got to admire the front of them coming out and doing so. Real Madrid president Florentino Perez declared it a great day for the history of football. Well, he's going to have a tough job getting this off the ground because Bayern Munich have come out and pretty much backed European football under UEFA. The German Football League, in charge of Bundesliga, said it explicitly supports the European sports model and rejects competitions outside those competitions organised by the federations and the leagues. And the French Football Federation have also done similar. So it's got no support, not just in the Premier League, but across Europe, other than those sides that I've mentioned, Barcelona and Real Madrid. The Premier League have come out and denounced it. Roma, one of the sides to come out and denounce it. Juventus, who were one of the original three main sides back in 2021, have given up on the plans as well. So it's basically just going to be Real Madrid and Barcelona pushing for it. Good luck to them. They've got a fight on the hands. It's not going to work. We don't need it. The Champions League is where you want to be. I mean, those nights that we had at St James Park this season, I know we've gone out in heartbreaking fashion, but seeing PSG, beating PSG 4-1, what a memory to have. And we want to be back there. Hopefully next season, if not next season, the season after that. We want to be there on merit as well. And the Champions League, of course, there's always room for improvement. There is. And it's going to be reformatted itself, isn't it? More teams are going to be added. But the Champions League is the dream competition. If not that, the Europa League, the Conference League. You know, there's it has to be under UEFA control from my view. Now, the one plus of this proposal, and there is a plus, is the offer of all games being played. They would be broadcast for free on a new streaming service. And I think we can all get on board with that. We can all agree that the cost of subscription service to watch your side play football, whether that just be in the Premier League or whether that be across all competitions, is ridiculous. You've got so many platforms you need to subscribe to follow your teams. And then you can't even watch all the games. You know, in Europe, you can watch them all legally pretty much in any other country, but not in England. The cost is ridiculous. I think it's more than £1,000 if you were to subscribe to every single legal subscription service. It's not good. Fans are not thought about at all when it comes to that. So that is a good element of the new proposal, the new plans, but the rest of it, not happening. We don't need it. It's not going to happen. You've got to admire the front of them coming out so quickly after this court ruling, and also interpret it in such a way that they think this new plan can work. It's not going to work. You haven't got the backing of the rest of Europe. It's only Barcelona and Real Madrid leading the way. And when they're pretty much crying poverty, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because you have teams in their own leagues which say, wait a minute, you spend all this money on big players. You get all this money from the TV companies. How are you pleading poverty? It's not going to work. It smacks of desperation. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you want to see a new European competition, perhaps? Do you think it opens the door to more teams getting involved at the top table of Europe's elite competition? Are you quite happy with the Champions League? Let me know in the comments. I've been Andrew Musgrove. Hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys